Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by Titan FC Featherweight champion Andre Harrison. Andre, how are you?
I'm alright, man. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Thanks for asking. Andre, the name of the game is really random. That's where I ask you a random question and you give me the real answer. Some of these questions are custom made just for you, and some of these questions are generic ones that I ask all the people I interview. So, here's the first question. Superpower you'd love to have?
Ah, boy. Let's go telekinesis.
Favorite movie?
That's a tough one. I'm a movie buff, so I watch a lot of them. Let's just say, Shatters.
Favorite color?
Red.
Favorite guilty pleasure?
Favorite guilty pleasure? I'm gonna go with a good massage.
Andre, you retained the Titan FC Featherweight belt back on September 9th at Titan FC 41 when you fought and defeated Popo Bazeha. You won the fight by unanimous decision. Overall, were you pleased with your performance in the fight?
Yes and no. I mean, like any fight, there's some things I wish I could have done differently looking back on it now. I could have done without that fourth round. That fourth round was a lot of close calls in that fourth round, and, I wish I would have put him out in that fifth. I was really, really trying to end the fight in that fifth, but Popo's a tough dude.
What was the game plan going into the fight, and how well did you execute it?
I didn't really have, like, a specific game plan. Just had some things that I worked on. I know I wanted to stand a little bit more in this fight. He's a legit black belt, so there's no need in being on the ground if we were winning the battle on the feet. If and when I did take him down, we wanted to practice being in positions where we wouldn't get in trouble, but we'll more so have him in trouble. So that was pretty much it.
Tell me about the fourth round, because he had you in all kinds of trouble. He was trying to submit you with a few different submissions. How were you able to survive that?
Training. My jiu-jitsu instructor, Joe Scarola, is, he's legitimately known for his arm bars. And so anytime you go with him, you have to be conscious of where your arms are and where they can end up. And his first black belt, Carlos Rosado, he's the same exact way except with triangles. And then you have my other teammates like Greg Gillespie, who's a 4-time D1 All-American, where he's phenomenal at controlling people on the ground and taking your back, getting to mount, getting to knee on belly, and his guillotine and arm triangle are amazing. And so these are all positions that these guys are not even good at. They're great at it. And you have to be able to stop it or maneuver around it in order to just be able to roll with them. And so, in practicing with these gentlemen on a daily basis, you naturally get, the sensitivity where you can negate certain situations. And so, I just went with what I was comfortable with and just kept moving and had faith in the fact that there's an air pocket somewhere around and I was going to find it and, eventually get out and get to a place where make him defend what I was going to do.
A teammate of yours, Levon Makashvili, he fought against Popo not once but twice. Did anything surprise you about this fight? Because I'm sure Levon gave you some tips, and I'm sure you went back and watched his fights against Popo. Did anything in the fight surprise you?
No, for the most part, he did what I thought he was going to do. I know he likes straight punches, the jab, the right hand, not really too big on hooks and stuff. That really surprised me. I mean, he was what I thought he was, and I did speak to Levon about it. Levon is a man of, few words in that regard. So he was just like, I know you're going to go out there and you're going to do well. It was like, just don't look over Popo because he's really, really tough, and it was like, if you can, take him down, but he's really, really good at getting back up to his feet, which he is.
What exactly did your corner tell you in between rounds 4 and 5?
Pretty much said that this fight didn't need to still be going on. If I would have thrown in combinations like I'm accustomed to or like I can, the fight would have been over. It was like the fight is 2-2. If you want to win, you need to go out there. Come on, I had it 2-2 as well, so I knew the fifth round was going to be like the deciding factor, so I needed to win it convincingly. I needed all the judges to agree that I won that fifth round.
Were you surprised when the judges' scorecards were read and 2 of the 3 judges had you winning 4 rounds to 1?
When I went back and watched the fight, I can see how, I'm guessing that would have been the second round. I believe I won the first. The second round could have been a toss-up. Third round, he won. Fourth round, he won. The fourth round, he's definitely won. Fifth round, I definitely won, and those first 3 rounds could have been like, it varies depending on what the judges were looking for and who or what they were looking at. So, but yeah, I mean, I can see how it could have been 4 rounds to 1.
Mm-hmm. You could tell in that 5th round that Popo emptied his gas tank in the 4th round. He was trying to finish you right then and there, and he didn't monitor his energy properly. So in that 5th round, he was pretty tired. But my question to you is, do you think you broke him in that 4th round by not being able to be finished by him? Because, I'm sure in his gym and in previous fights, he's been able to catch guys in the positions he had you in. Do you think you broke him in that, or was it more just he was tired in that 5th round and that's why you were able to run away with it?
I think it's a little bit of both, man. Like, for a striker, if you hit somebody with that shot and they're still standing there coming forward, it does take a part in your mind. It takes a special kind of person where that would stay and they would just keep going. Mm-hmm. And for a grappler, if you have somebody in your best submissions, man, and they, for whatever reason, they get out somehow, some way, it wears on you a little bit. For me, I've felt that happen a few times. Like when I was fighting Steven Seiler, everybody knows he has an amazing guillotine, and so the second guillotine that I got out of, which was extremely tight, when I popped my head out finally, you heard him go, "Oh, damn." And I was like, all right, that right there means that, like, he's like, man, you may not even realize it at the time, but that's a breaking point. That's like, yo, I'm doing my best and this guy just won't go away. And that time frame that you're thinking that's, you mentally defeat yourself. So that could have happened. That accompanied with Popo was working, man. He was going from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing in that 4th round, and he was working hard. So, it just, everything added up, and it was just a tough one for him, a tough round.
How many times have you gone back and watched the fight?
I've watched it only once. I was going to watch it earlier today, but I woke up a little late, and I had some running around to do, so we'll watch it a little later when I get back home.
Mm-hmm. And just curious, when you watch your fights, are you able to divorce yourself and watch it as a fan, or every time you watch the fight, you're always watching to see what you did well and what you didn't do so well? Like, can you watch it just as a fan and not pick out things and be like, oh, well, I should have done this better, or oh, that was potentially was an opening there? Like, can you watch it as a fan?
Nah, man, I can't do that because, I actually, like, directly prior to the fights, I'm not really nervous. I feel confident, I believe in my training and what it's doing. But for whatever reason, when I go back to watch the fights, even though I know the outcome and I know everything, like, I'm nervous, like, watching it because my palms are sweaty and everything. I don't know. Maybe, like, I feel like I'm a tough critic on myself, especially being that I watch so many fights. Like, I watch everything. So when I see certain things, I'm like, oh, come on, Dre, how'd you let that happen? Or why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? So they're like, for me going back and watching it, I'm just, like, so invested because, I can feel what I felt at that moment and, question myself, what was I thinking at this moment and all that other stuff. So, no, I'm not able to.
I had a coach tell me once, when you watch yourself on film, it's never as good as you think it is, and it's never as bad as you think it is. Because sometimes you'll see something where, oh, I did this so great in the fight, I did this, I did that, and then when you go back and watch, you're like, oh, that really isn't that great. Or, oh, he had me in this bad position, I looked horrible, blah, blah, and then you see it and you're like, oh, well, it really wasn't that bad. When you went back and watched this fight, did you have moments like that, whether it was good or bad?
Yes, I had a few of them. One of my takedowns I thought was really, really well. I ran right through it just like Coach wanted. Some of my shots were really good. One of the things that I noticed, where if Coach hears me saying this, he'll probably beat me up. But I spend a lot of time looking to set up shots, but whenever it is I do throw, it is very, very quick. It's very hard, and it's like solid stuff, man. It looked like I came from more of a striking background than a grappling background. It's just those moments aren't as consistent as they should be. And I don't know if I'm waiting too long and trying to set it up, or what the case may be. But some of those things I get impressive with. Certain positions, like I also went in on something, and the whole started that whole transition for that fourth round. Like, I don't know how in the hell I allowed myself to end up in that position, but again, everything happens for a reason. Maybe if we don't get caught in that scramble, Popo doesn't come out in the fifth round as tired. He comes out, with the same intentions as me, like, yo, I got to get this round, and maybe things weren't going to be what they were. So everything happens for a reason, and plus that was a character building moment for myself where I got to see how tough I was, and appreciate my training and everything like that.
How's your hand?
My hand is fine. I can make a fist and everything like that. It was just, I think in that first round I went to throw an uppercut, and maybe I might have hit his tooth. Just bleeding. And the funny thing was, during the actual fight, I didn't know what was cut. I didn't know what was bleeding. And so I'm sitting up there and I'm thinking, Popo threw a jab and a right elbow at some point during the fight. And I thought I got out of the way, and then as I'm sitting up there watching all this blood, I'm like, well, where's this blood coming from? Maybe it was like a glancing elbow and I didn't feel it at the moment. And I was just like, man, I got to figure this out, see where I'm cut at. So that's why if you look at the fight at various points, you'll see me touching my face and stuff like that. I was checking to see where I was cut.
How many stitches did they put in there?
Maybe like 2 or 3.
Oh.
It wasn't anything big. It was just, it's like on my finger. It's like cut like down to like the tendon, they said. So, but it's fine now. Like, I can make a fist. The swelling in my knuckle and everything is gone. I'm good to go. The most thing probably would be like the top of my left foot.
How did you celebrate the win?
Me and a couple of my friends that came down for the fight, and Usman, we all went out to Blue Martini, and we ate, we danced, it had us a good time.
Hobbies outside of fighting?
Outside of fighting, I love playing pool, and traveling. I love traveling.
Do you have your own pool cue? Do you have your own stick?
Yes, I do, yes.
I can just imagine you taking it out of the case and screwing it together.
Oh, man, talking a whole bunch of trash as I do it, too. I talk a lot of trash outside of fighting. I don't really talk trash in fighting because I believe, it all takes place in the cage. Talk your trash in the cage, but when it comes down to, like, video games or playing pool or bowling, I talk a lot of trash.
So you're not like a hustler? You're not a guy who, like, sandbags, like, oh, I'm not very good, and then you're emptying the table? You're not one of those guys? You let people know how good you are?
Yeah, I definitely let them know. I told them, listen, this is not going to be a good game for you. You're going to lose, and it's going to be bad. I hope we can still remain friends afterwards. If not, I definitely understand.
That's funny. Do you have any pre-fight rituals or superstitions?
No, not really. I'm as basic as they come with that kind of stuff, man. I don't think anything really factors in too much to it. At that point in time, everything's done. So you either prepared or you're not, and that's just what it is.
Do you have any post-fight rituals?
I just go back to the room, man. I shower. I play a lot of reggae music. You know, I say a little prayer, a little thank you prayer, you know, and then just head out. I usually go eat right away. I eat first, and then we go, you know, do whatever we got to do.
What motivates you in life and in fighting?
Everything, man. I have a crazy support center, like my family and my friends. You know, like I have a crazy support center. My daughter, you know, just all of that combined, you know, like, it's gotten to the point now where it's like, this was actually like, and I haven't told anybody this, so you can appreciate this. This has been to myself, but this fight, alongside with when I fought Marius Vasquez for the Ring of Combat title, was the only two fights that I was actually like nervous for, like the day of, like that morning when I woke up and everything like that, because you know, you start getting messages from everybody about how much they look up to you, and you know, they wish you the best, and how much of an inspiration you are. And so, you know, for me, I remember wrestling, whenever we would travel to a different state to wrestle somebody, it was always easier for me, because the people you love and care about won't be there to see if anything went wrong. They wouldn't be there. So it's not like you have to really put on anything. Whereas, you know, home, and you got your family, your friends, your girlfriend, your mother, your brothers, you know, you got everybody there rooting for you. You feel like, I just can't let them down. I kind of got reunited with those films, because it's like I had so many people tell me that they bought Fight Pass just to tune in for the fight. Like, I live in New York, and I had, you know, so many people come down from New York. They flew in just for the fight and to chill out for the weekend. So it was one of those things where it was like, man, like, you legit have a serious fan base, and you know, everybody's looking up to you for you to do it. And then not only that, but like, my teammates are now getting ready to fight too. My brother's fighting tomorrow night in Texas. And we train together. Greg Gillespie, he's fighting the following week in Brazil. You mentioned Levon Makashvili, he's fighting the following week in Connecticut. Philippe Nova, Chris Wade, all these guys are fighting, and we all train together. So if they go out there and they see that I went out there and I dominated my fight, they're going to have that much more faith in their training. And if they should get into a bad position, they'll be able to tough it out the same way I toughed it out. Or maybe they don't even get to the bad position. Maybe they just dominate from belt to belt. You know what I'm saying? But there's so much like riding on it where it's just not me anymore. You know what I'm saying? My coaches, you know, they take time away from their family, their everyday rituals to come out with me from, you know, the Tuesday till Sunday. You know, that's a lot of time that they're missing. So again, it's not like it's just me where, you know, if I go out there and I don't perform to the best of my ability, it's just a waste of my time. It's a waste of everybody's time. So, you know, I think I consider all of that. Besides
fighting, what are you passionate about?
Besides fighting, what am I passionate about? That's a tough one, man, because fighting's been a part of me for so long now.
Right.
I've never really given myself like a plan B or anything like that, but I would say family, friends, you know, passionate about them, making life easier for them any way I can.
If you weren't a pro fighter, what would your job be?
I know before I got into fighting, I was in school, I wanted to be a lawyer. Maybe I would have, if I didn't fall in love with fighting along the way, maybe I would have just pursued, that. Maybe I would have been doing law right now.
Are you a full-time fighter, or do you work a second job?
Yes and no. I do train and everything full-time, but I do have a second job, which is the funny part. I also train people. So I'm in the gym literally all day, every day. I train people, whether it's a house mom just wanting to get into better shape, or it's an amateur wanting to train for his first, fighter. So, I train everybody. So, yeah.
Celebrity people say you look like?
It depends, man. If it's with fighting, I've heard several times that I look like a short version of John Jones or Tyrone Woodley, depending on if my beard is scruffy or not. Yeah, that's usually what I get, or have been getting lately.
Go-to song when you're singing in the shower?
Vibes Cartel, Fever.
If you could trade places with anyone in the world for a week, Who would you trade places with, and why?
That's a good question. I'd probably say John Jones, man. Just wanting to see what that would be like, to be him for a week.
If you could stay one age forever, how old would you stay?
Probably where I'm at right now, probably 28.
Favorite food?
Jerk chicken.
Favorite TV show, and it can be a show currently on the air or a show no longer on the air, just overall favorite TV show.
Martin.
Favorite band and or solo artist?
I'm going to go with Cartel.
Coming up in November, the UFC will be making their debut in New York. You're a New York guy. They're making history by having the first show in New York, the first UFC in New York. You're a New York guy. UFC debut. Makes a lot of sense. Is that the dream scenario for when your debut will be?
Yeah, it would be. That'd be ideal. I've been asking for it, praying for it. I'd fight anybody on that show. It's just a waiting game right now. I got to see if they'll allow that to happen.
Have you heard anything from the UFC outside of the traditional, hey, keep fighting, keep winning, and if you do well, we'll sign you? Have you gotten anything from them besides the traditional response?
Nah, I wish. But nope, that's pretty much what I got.
I don't really have a problem with you not finishing guys. I know a lot of people do, but if you look at the guys that you've been fighting, they're all either former champions in Titan or former champions outside of Titan but have held a belt in some other promotion, or they're big show veterans. You look at the list of guys that you've fought, they're all very, very tough, and because they're so tough, they're also very, very hard to finish. So I don't really have a problem with that, but I know that a lot of people want to see you finish guys, and I know you probably get stuff here and there, social media stuff wise, and maybe, other fighters saying stuff about you, but what's been something that you've gotten, messages or whatever, or other fighters talking about you that's an unfair criticism of you and not finishing?
They'll say that, I played safe, that I don't look for the finish, which is dumb because at the end of the day, man, it's a fight, It doesn't matter if I'm 10 times better than somebody or we're even. Mm-hmm. With 4-ounce gloves and no shin pads, with shin pads, you can finish the fight. At any given moment, any given shot can change the outcome of the fight. So there's no reason for me to just want to be out there. You know what I'm saying? If I get a chance to finish somebody, I'm going to take that chance. It's just I'm not going to sit up there and pursue a finish at the risk of putting myself in a position to be finished. I don't remember exactly who the fight was, but I remember two gentlemen legitimately just went right to the middle of the cage and just, chin down and started swinging for the fences. For me, that's a street fight, man. That's not a mixed martial artist. The whole object of striking that I look at is you're supposed to hit and not get hit. You know what I'm saying? From wrestling, I want to be able to take you down and control you where I want you to be, not give you an opportunity to put me in a bad position. And jiu-jitsu, what's the phrase that they always say, position before submission. You don't just go out there and just jump in for the submission without setting it up first. These are all principles that I look at as a mixed martial artist, and so when I get to these positions, I'm not as aggressive as everybody else would like me to be all the time, but I go for things when I see them. I go for things when I feel them. In this past fifth round with Popo, I was throwing everything and anything at him. Mm-hmm. Kicks, punch, elbows, everything. I was trying to finish the fight. Does that mean that I was taking it easy or being cautious in that round as well?
Right. You're in a weird position because, yes, you're not finishing these guys, but you keep beating these guys. And to beat these guys, because they're all very, very tough, you have to go out and try to finish them. So it's a weird situation that you're in because people are criticizing you for not finishing, but you're still winning. And the way to beat these guys, because they're so tough, you have to go out and try to finish them. It's a very strange situation. That's why I don't really buy in too much to you not finishing, because it's a very weird situation. I can't really put it into words, but I hope you understand what I'm saying.
No, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
You're not going to go out there and just grind out a decision on these guys. You know what I'm saying? They're going to catch you if you do that.
Yeah. I mean, Kurt Hollabaugh, he's been in the big show. He held the Titan belt. If you're going and playing it safe, you would have lost that fight for sure. Like, it's a weird situation you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you brought it up a little bit earlier. You mentioned a lot of your teammates that are fighting in the UFC and some other guys who are fighting in other promotions, but mainly the guys who are fighting in the UFC. Is it strange for you? Because I'm sure you have mixed emotions, because on one hand, you're happy for those guys, but on the other hand, you're on the outside looking in. You're like, hey, when am I going to get my opportunity? Like, is it strange for you being around these guys who are already in the UFC and you're on the cusp of being there? Like, is it weird for you at all?
I wouldn't say it's weird, but you are definitely right. Like, I couldn't be happier for my teammates and opponents, but on the flip side of it, you do kind of get the sense, like, when is it going to be my turn, and, what do I have to do? Like, Randy, when he got in, he was 6-0. Gregor, when he got in, was 7-0. Like, I have, double amount of fights that these guys have, so it's like, I don't know what else, The only thing that they could possibly say that's keeping me is I don't have certain finishes, but, I've fought a lot of, like, tough guys, man. I've fought, like you mentioned, like, all these guys. If you add up my last 5 fights, my opponent's win record, you have about 120-something wins. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's about 20-something wins per person. Like, that's not easy to come by. Most people don't even get through their career with 20-plus wins. And these are the guys that I'm beating, and beating convincingly. This is it's another unanimous decision that I've received or whatever. Like, It's not like it's tooth and nail where it's controversial, where we might have to fight again to see who's the real winner. Like, I've beat these guys convincingly, so it's like, what else do I need to do?
Has Bellator offered you anything? Because in my mind, there's only 2 places you can go, UFC or Bellator, because I don't really view World Series of Fighting as a major promotion. There's various reasons we don't have to get into, but it's just my personal feelings. That would be a lateral step for you, going from Titan to World Series of Fighting, because I kind of view World Series of Fighting and Titan in the same light. Has Bellator, have they been in contact with you or your manager? Because you're kind of the guy they're looking for. They're looking for up-and-coming talent that they can steal from the UFC. So have you heard anything from them?
We're like in negotiation talks with, various people, so I don't know where everything is going yet. I'll know for sure better next week what's going to happen, but I believe we are in talks with them, so hopefully something. At this point in time, where I'm at in my career, man, for me it's more so about money than anything else, It's about, I believe, a world title in Bellator or UFC. For me, it doesn't matter. It's still a world title. And we've seen guys go from Bellator to the UFC and win world titles. Eddie Alvarez is the current title holder. Benson Henderson won the title, and there's so many people that came from different organizations and won the title. So for me, at this point in time, I need bigger and better paydays.
And we could potentially see Will Brooks and Eddie Alvarez, 2 guys who held the Bellator belt, fighting for a UFC title. It's, just because you go to Bellator doesn't mean that your UFC dreams are over. That could be another way for you getting in there and make a good payday. So you're open to the highest bidder. Whoever it is, wherever it is, it doesn't matter to you, just as long as you get that nice payday?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, at the end of the day, man, I told you, I have a daughter, man. I want to be able to, give her things that I may not have been able to get growing up, I don't want to say, I can't get you this right now, baby, because Dad didn't get, paid yet, or, things along those lines. Like, that's not what I want, want to be able to get her whatever and everything she deserves, whatever she wants, and go from there.
Let's say the UFC calls you up and says, hey, we got a spot for you, but for your debut, it's going to be at lightweight. Are you open to that? Because that seems to be a way that a lot of these guys get into the UFC. They go in at a higher weight class, make their debut, and then drop down. Are you open to that? Because 145 historically has been a very difficult weight class to break into. A lot of these guys who have held titles in Titan or Legacy or RFA, those kind of shows that are known feeders to the UFC, those guys have had to make multiple title defenses like you've been doing because the UFC is so stacked at that 155 and 145, and those guys are very flexible in weight, and they can make both weight classes, it's very difficult for the UFC to not only sign guys and give them a good amount of time to make their debut, but also because of the short notice fights, because they have so many guys under contract, they can just go within their roster to fill in a gap. So are you open to lightweight if that's your way in?
Oh, yeah. I named some of my training partners. They're all 155ers. Mm-hmm. Nick Fiore, Greg Gillespie, Chris Wade. All these guys, they're 155ers. So I'm accustomed going with 155ers. I'm very confident in my strength and my ability to go with these guys. So if that was my way in, I'll definitely take it.
You made your Titan FC debut back in December of 2014, and then you took the title away from Kurt Holobaugh at Titan FC 34 in July of 2015. Now, be honest with me. When you claimed the Titan FC belt, how long did you think you were going to stay in Titan before the UFC signed you? Because I know for a fact it wasn't this long. I know that you thought you were going to be gone a long time ago, but realistically, how long after the Holobaugh fight did you think the UFC was going to sign you? One title defense, two, more, less? What did you think?
I thought one title defense and I would have been gone.
I don't know if you're a betting man or not, but if you had to put money on it right now, where would your next fight be? Would it be a Titan FC title defense, or would it be in a major promotion?
I'm going to say a major promotion. I think positively. I believe that's going to breed positive energy. So I believe for me, my next fight will be in a major organization. I'm not sure which one yet, but I do believe that that's what's going to happen. Regardless
of where you go, whether it's the UFC or Bellator, or if you stay in Titan, I don't know what the deal is, but is November, is that a good month for your return to the cage? Is obviously the dream would be you fighting in New York in November, but regardless of where it is November the month you're shooting for?
Yeah, definitely I'll be training again this week coming, so I'll be getting right back to the mix of things. So yeah, November would be good.
What are you doing right now? Just relaxing, or are you still doing a little bit of training? I know you probably can't be punching anything because of your hand, but what are you doing training-wise? Are you just relaxing, or are you doing some running, coaching people? What's your schedule looking like these days?
Well, this is my daughter's birthday week.
Right.
And I've always had to fight either on or right before or right after her birthday, so never, been able to give her this much time and attention on her birthday, right before, right after. So I'm just with her right now. So training-wise, I'm not doing anything really, just relaxing. And, I'll get right back into it probably Sunday.
Her birthday was yesterday, the 15th, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
How old is she turning? 4? 4, you said? Yeah. What's her name?
Anaya.
Happy birthday, Anaya. 4 years old.
Yes, sir.
Pretty good. Mixed martial arts is a very rough and tough sport. There's so many different ways you can win and lose, and for anyone, it's a very difficult task to end their career undefeated. Right now, 14 bouts, you're perfect in all 14 of them, but, going forward, it's going to be difficult. There's a lot of great fighters out there who have lost multiple times. Look at Anderson Silva. He has a lot of losses on his record. Look at Randy Couture. He has double-digit losses on his record. It's a very tough sport because there's so many different ways you can win and lose. Is it a goal for you to retire undefeated? Do you worry about losing? More so than anyone else. Everyone obviously goes into their fights and wants to win all of them, but do you think about that a lot? Having an undefeated record?
No, I actually never do until I'm in an interview and somebody asks me about it.
Okay.
For me, I'm more so worried about going out and not performing as good as I know I can.
When you watch UFC fights, and mainly when you watch your weight class, how many times have you said to yourself when you watch a fight, let me in there, I can beat this guy, or when you see someone not have a good performance, oh man, I can't believe that guy's in there and I'm not in there. Do you ever have moments like that when you watch UFC fights, especially in your weight class?
Oh yeah, countless times.
What's the best thing that ever happened to you?
Oh, man, that's a tough question, man, because I feel like everything leads into everything else, so that's a tough one. I feel like the safest answer is just to be like my daughter, having my daughter.
Person you look up to the most?
Keith Trimble.
Some people are afraid of spiders, some people are afraid of heights, some people are afraid of the dark. What are you afraid of?
Being homeless.
Best advice you were ever given through life, and best advice you were ever given through fighting, and who gave it to you?
Best advice I've been given through life, biggest risk in life is not taking one. That'll probably be, I used to be a door-to-door salesman, and my general manager told us that. And best advice through fighting, I mean, it wouldn't be so much as advice, but just, believe in yourself, trusting yourself, trusting, the tools and everything that you're given and you developed, and use them when you go out there.
What do you worry about? What's something that keeps you up at night?
I don't really worry. I'm not like a worry head. I feel like things are going to happen the way they're supposed to happen, when they're supposed to happen. So I don't really worry. I just kind of just ride the wave until, it's time for me to do something.
What's your hidden talent?
I can cook.
What's your specialty?
I'm not even sure. I can make a lot of different dishes. So.
Number one thing on your bucket list?
Probably want to go skydiving one day.
Last question, Andre. If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change and why?
I'd say less killings with these guns, man. Life is precious, so it shouldn't be so easy for somebody to just take another life, If people got issues with somebody and it gets to a point where it has to be physical, I mean, so be it. But, it should be like, you fight and get it over with. Both people, go home to their friends and their family. It shouldn't be, you get a gun and you shoot somebody, you get a knife and you stab somebody and just completely end that person's life,
Andre, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you want to say to the fans?
For the fans, I really thank you guys for watching me and supporting me. I appreciate it tenfold. Just keep on watching, man. I'm gonna keep growing and keep doing better and better. I just want to thank my management, Battle Scar. I want to thank New York Fighting, Everlast, Escanza Demolition, Next Level Auto Body, David Martin's Auto Concepts. Definitely want to thank Belmore Kickboxing and Scarola Jiu-Jitsu and Dr. Michael Camp Strength and Conditioning. I mean, without you guys, there's no bowl. So definitely want to thank you guys, man, for everything. And my teammates, best of luck to you guys. Even though you don't need it, all the hard work is done. It's time to go out there and enjoy yourselves. And let's keep chalking up these W's.
Andre, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.